Hey, let's start with an election retrospective, obviously enough. So within the Republican Party, in the wake of what happened on November 6th, there are a couple of schools of thought. One says basically we need a rethink of our message, particularly to younger voters and minorities. Another school seems to say what we really need is a better machinery that does what the Democrats do so well, reach voters and turn them out. Which camp are you in?
I've got a foot planted firmly in each camp. I think we do need to go back and look at our mechanics, but we do have some issues. When you got an election in which 59% of the voters say the economy is their number one issue, but they break for the Republican by only 51-47, we need to look at how our message is being perceived, how it's being heard, and take our conservative principles and without surrendering them, find answers and language that will reach the American working class and the rising young voters, because we did better this time around than we did last time around among millennials, and we got a better strength among some key voter groups, but we're not winning the message war with Democrats among Latinos, and we need to do a heck of a lot better with the kind of conservative economic message we've got in an era that in an election that called out for it.
Let me go to a startling statistic. When you ran George W. Bush's re-election campaign in 2004, you lost the Hispanic vote by 9 percentage points, according to exit polls. Mitt Romney lost it by 44 percentage points. What went wrong there?
Well, our language, the language adopted in the primary was not welcome in the general election. The talk about self-deportation was read inside the Hispanic community, even among Latinos who are passionate about border security. It was read as a lack of respect for the community. And this is first and foremost an issue of making them understand, letting them know, making it clear to them that you respect the contributions of the Latino community to America's great economy and culture and society, and that we're welcoming of legal immigration. And that just sounded like, very unwelcome. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to be forward-leaning on immigration, and then we need to campaign aggressively in the Latino community. Look, Texas is a big state. We've just elected our first Hispanic United States Senator in the history of the state, and guess what? He's a Republican. That's what the message can do if we aggressively follow it as a party.
But the first step is getting right on immigration. Is that the point?
Well, I think the first point is getting rid of the rhetoric that is distinctly unwelcoming and is perceived in the community as being disrespectful. We need to find practical ways to secure our borders, to resolve the question of the people who are here in the United States illegally, and to provide an ability for people to come here to work and then return home. Those things are all important. They were all part of George W. Bush's comprehensive immigration plan, which I incidentally remind you, President Barack Obama, as a U.S. Senator, voted to gut when he was in the United States Senate. But those were important elements. And aggressively campaigning in the community is important. President Bush did so in 2004, and as you say, lost the community by 9 percentage points.
Karl, one of the things that struck me at the end of this campaign was I really think that Mitt Romney's people believed they were going to win. You predicted a Romney win. What was wrong with the Republican model at that point, at the end?
Well, first of all, we have a narrow victory here. So, I mean, we called it wrong. I called it wrong. I was wrong. I didn't see that we would have, I thought Hispanic turnout would flatline because the enthusiasm inside the Hispanic community towards President Obama was lukewarm at best. They knew that he had failed to lead on comprehensive immigration reform, and the economy adversely affected the Latino community enormously, not only because it cost them jobs, but because the Hispanic community is among the most entrepreneurial groups in American society, and it kept them from starting their businesses or growing their businesses. So I underestimated that. And that would have made it closer. But the other thing is we have a large number of white working class voters who simply said, I can't bring myself to vote for President Obama. I may have voted for him last time around, but I can't bring myself to vote for him this time. But they also said by the end of the campaign, I can't bring myself to vote for Mitt Romney. The grand bet, as Jim Messina, the Obama campaign manager, depicted it in post-election interviews, of irradiating Mitt Romney during the summer with a massive TV blitz, in retrospect was a brilliant strategic maneuver and worked because it depressed turnouts. You look at Ohio, 450,000 fewer white voters and an election turnout that's down by nearly 300,000 from where it was 4 years ago, even though there was a larger African American turnout. And I mean, President Obama, who won the state with 200 and some odd, nearly 300,000 votes 4 years ago, wins it by 107. That says something about what was going on in this community that was deeply conflicted, wanted to vote for somebody, had largely voted for President Obama in 2008, had been disappointed by his policies, but could not bring themselves to vote for Mitt Romney.
Well, but again, Karl, if we go back 8 years ago to that 2004 campaign, you guys did a pretty good job of getting precisely those voters to turn out for George W. Bush. Was it the candidate or was it the machinery?
Well, I think it's a combination of message and campaign. Look, George W. Bush got a quarter more votes in 2004 than he got in 2000. We were aimed not merely at turning out the faithful, but about growing the universe. Neither candidate did a particularly good job of this. As of Monday afternoon of this week, Mitt Romney has 99.9% of the votes that John McCain had 4 years ago, and will eclipse McCain's vote total of 4 years ago. At this point, President Obama has 91.8% of what he got 4 years ago. He will not eclipse his vote total. This is only the sixth election in the history of America, the sixth presidential election in history, in which the number of presidential votes dropped from the previous election, and it will drop by the largest number, and I think the second largest percentage in the history of the country in peacetime.